The Socio-Economic Marine Research Unit in NUI Galway conducts research on a variety of marine, economic and social related issues. In particular, our research examines the utility of the marine environment in terms of transportation, marine tourism, energy, and also the ecological value that's generated from the productivity of associated marine ecosystems, so fishing, aquaculture and seafood processing. The Harnessing Our Ocean Wealth, the Integrated Marine Plan for Ireland, it sets a number of targets for the development of the ocean economy. In particular, it's interested in trying to achieve a target of 6.4 billion in turnover from marine industries by 2020, and also to double the contribution to GDP to 2.4 by 2030. A big part of our work is generating data on what we would term the ocean economy. Currently, the ocean economy is worth approximately 1.4 billion in terms of contribution to Irish GDP, and there's also a turnover of approximately 4.5 billion across the marine industries. We also estimate that there's maybe 18,500 individuals employed on a full-time basis within the ocean economy. The aims within the Harnessing Our Ocean Wealth, the Integrated Marine Plan for Ireland, they're all about trying to maximise the net benefits to society from the use of our marine resources. And in that regard, we look at the value of the industries within the ocean economy, but as well as that, we're very much concerned with this idea of around blue growth. Because blue growth involves increasing the activity taking place in the marine environment, at the same time as making sure that the marine environment is still capable of providing what we refer to as marine ecosystem services. So we generate values for those marine ecosystem services that policymakers can factor in when they're trying to decide on where development should take place in the marine environment, and also where there's likely to be conflict between the ocean industries and the delivery of these important marine ecosystem services. Technology has advanced to a point now where it's economically feasible to generate additional activity from our marine resources. So, that means that we are seeing a lot more research and innovation taking place in the marine environment, which creates opportunities for marine industries and for the development of the sector. The future is bright, and hopefully the future is blue.
I'm a principal investigator with University College Cork and the Marine Institute, and I work in the area of population genetics and molecular ecology, more specifically in the area of conservation genetics. Ireland has made a big investment in the use of new technologies to support the management of natural resources and to develop aquaculture and other activities that will promote jobs and promote the sustainability of these resources in the long term. And as a result of that investment, Ireland is very much to the forefront of genomics and the application of genetics in natural resource management. So the relevance of my work to the blue economy, particularly where I work with Atlantic salmon, which would be the principal species of interest, we're interested in describing the biological resource. So when we think of the biological resource, we're right from the molecular level, genes, how genes are linked then to genomes and how they interact between each other, how the individuals those genomes are aligned to, how they constitute populations, what are the factors to delineate those populations, and then how those populations constitute species, and then how species might interact at an ecosystem level. We're also interested in is the impact of man on those resources. So we'd be interested in how various stressors in the environment might affect those populations. So what are those stressors? So the kind of things we're thinking of are fisheries, climate change, the impact of releasing captive bred fish into the wild. We're also interested in impacts of habitat changes and then bioinvasives. But the big thing is that all these things seem to interact. There's an interactive effect. What we're interested then is how we might provide evidence-based science on those stressors that would inform policy or planning or the certification of various activities on those resources or in regulation. Everything there is related to the protection of the natural capital, and then that natural capital underpins the blue economy, I suppose, in the long run.
The SFI Marai Centre is made up of 6 universities. academic third-level institutes. And then we have 46 industries who are partners in the centre. So we have phenomenal infrastructure, and that infrastructure attracts in the top researchers. And I have found by bringing these researchers into the classroom, into the undergrads, we then attract the brightest students to come and do PhDs with us. And the route we're encouraged with our PhDs is to get them into industry afterwards. MRI could be broken into a number of research divisions. So one of the main branches of our research is to look at optimizing a wave device, taking energy from the waves and converting it to electricity. We would also look at tidal devices, which takes energy from the tide. And we have quite significant infrastructure in place, which is funded by, amongst others, Sustainable Energy Authority of Ireland. So we have the National Ocean Test Facility called LIR. So we model the effect of waves on floating wind turbines, on tidal devices. We're looking at the materials. How do you make this device that's going to sit in the water for 10, 20 years durable? We've done an awful lot of work with seaweed, and I would believe now that MRI is one of the world leaders in the area of making fuel from seaweed. So we need to wean ourselves off oil. We need to have ocean energy, wind energy, PV. We need to have bioenergy. We need to have wood chips. So MRI would look at the whole integrated system of energy production associated with the marine environment. But in particular, we're looking at bringing marine renewable energy into the country, into the transport system, into houses, into industry, and we're looking at optimizing that energy use by supporting technologies. So if you look at Ireland's competitive advantage, it's wind, it's wave, it's ocean, it's fish, it's seaweed. So we're looking at potential for an Ireland of the future that looks quite different than the Ireland we have now, where we're dependent on others for energy, where we have an aspiration that Ireland will be world leading in ocean energy, and that we will come up with the design of the optimal wave energy device or tidal device that can be patented and licensed and be used across the planet.